Somewhere between the silent geometry of stars and the repeating echoes of your own thoughts, the universe is whispering, not in spoken word or thunderous decree, but in something far more ancient, far more precise: numbers. They appear quietly, innocuously, slipping into the clock at 11:11, the total on your grocery receipt, the page you randomly turn to in a forgotten book. Yet, beneath their surface lies a language older than spoken tongues, a divine algorithm humming beneath the veil of everyday life, waiting for someone awake enough to listen. This is not a simple case of coincidence or mere superstition. No, this is the sacred arithmetic of existence, the breathless architecture that undergirds everything from the spirals of seashells to the orbits of galaxies. You are not merely a being wandering through time and space. You are a vessel built from ratios, encoded with equations, baptized in frequencies. The universe speaks through these symbols, repeating digits, harmonic intervals, symmetrical patterns, not to mystify, but to remind. There is a design, there is a dialogue, there is a calling. To some, numbers are cold, rigid things, tools of mathematicians, symbols used to count, categorize, and confine. But to the awakened eye, they are musical notes in the cosmic symphony, vibrating at frequencies that open portals within the soul. Think of the Fibonacci sequence, nature's own blueprint, playing itself out in the petals of a rose, the branching of trees, even the double helix of your DNA. Think of sacred geometry, where the triangle, square, and circle become sigils of higher truths. These are not human inventions. They are divine fingerprints, echoes of a larger intelligence trying to be heard. What if the world you live in is not chaotic, but coded? What if your intuition, your synchronicities, your dreams and inner nudges are all part of a conversation you've only barely noticed? You are not adrift. You are in dialogue. The question is, have you been listening? Many spiritual traditions have long taught that the universe is alive, conscious, and interactive. It listens, it responds, it guides. But while some hear its messages in dreams or visions, others find it in the cold, abstract elegance of numbers, those enigmatic characters that form the framework of time, measurement, and the very laws of physics. Pythagoras, the mystic mathematician, believed numbers were not just quantities, but archetypes, spiritual principles through which the divine mind expresses itself in the physical world. He once said, "All is number," not as a statement of limitation, but liberation, a key to understanding the matrix of existence itself. In modern times, this knowledge has been diluted, dismissed, or disguised. We've been trained to see numbers as data, not destiny, as tools for science, not keys to the sacred. Yet the signs persist. The person who sees 11:11 daily, who wakes at 3:33 for no reason, who notices their life moving in repeating sequences, is not hallucinating. They are tuning in, and the tuning is not accidental. The numbers that find you, often when your logical mind is distracted, are not passive signals. They are living messages, calls to awareness, symbols of alignment, transition, or initiation. They are the universe's way of saying, you are on the threshold of remembrance. Something within you is waking up. When you start listening to numbers, something astonishing happens. The world begins to arrange itself around you. The more you recognize the code, the more the code reveals itself. It's not that the numbers weren't there before, it's that your perception was sleeping. Now, as you awaken, the matrix shifts. The mundane dissolves. You step out of linear time into a space where everything connects, where reality is not just happening to you, but with you. This message, warning, the universe is speaking in numbers. Are you listening? Is not a casual musing. It's a call to revelation, a sacred alarm. Because if you are seeing the signs, it means something has begun. You've entered a phase where the fabric of your life is ready to speak, to illuminate, to transform. But it requires a choice. You must listen, not just with the ears, but with the soul. So ask yourself, what numbers have been following you? What patterns recur when your guard is down? What sequences pull at your attention without explanation? Are you ignoring a divine transmission because it feels too subtle, too strange, too impossible? The world is woven in symbols, and numbers are among the most potent. They are the DNA of divine order, the heartbeat of the cosmos. This isn't numerology as parlor trick or superstition. It's a living language, a sacred cipher that reveals the alignment of your path, the rhythm of your awakening, the mirror of your soul's evolution. And now, as you stand at the precipice of this revelation, the question returns: are you listening? To understand what it means when we say the universe is speaking in numbers, we must first release the notion that numbers are sterile abstractions, unfeeling tools of measurement. That concept is an echo of reductionist thinking, the child of an era obsessed with dissection rather than integration. Numbers are not dead digits etched on calculators or spreadsheets. They are alive. They breathe in rhythm with reality. They hold frequencies. They embody archetypes. Every number is a symbol, a portal into an aspect of cosmic intelligence. They do not merely quantify, they qualify. One represents unity, origin, the spark of singularity. 2, duality, reflection, the first echo of awareness. 3, trinity, creation, the sacred dance of synthesis. And so it goes, not randomly, but with precision, not mechanically, but musically. At the heart of this mystery lies synchronicity, a term Carl Jung gave to the phenomenon of meaningful coincidences. These are moments when time folds, when the veil thins, and the invisible hand guiding your life taps you gently on the shoulder. A repeating number on a license plate during a moment of emotional turmoil. A timestamp matching your birth date just as you're pondering your life purpose. These aren't accidents. These are winks from the infinite, numerical brushstrokes on the canvas of your consciousness. Consider the recurrence of specific number sequences: 111, 222, 333. To the casual observer, they are nothing more than a quirk of timing, but to the awakened, they are luminous codes. They are checkpoints in the matrix, signals that your consciousness is aligning with a deeper rhythm. Think of them as timestamps in your soul's mission log, moments when the inner and outer worlds meet in harmonic resonance. Some might call it numerology, but this isn't about fortune-telling or predictive gimmickry. This is about attunement. When you consistently see a sequence like 1111, you are not being told the future. You are being reminded of the present. You are being pulled back into awareness. 11 is the gateway. It opens, and you are being invited to step through, to recognize that your thoughts are seeds, and that reality is the soil awaiting your command. The universe uses numbers because they are pure, unlike words, which are shaped by culture and diluted by misuse. Numbers are universal. A spiral will always spiral. A ratio will always repeat. An equation will always resolve. And so, when the infinite chooses to whisper, it chooses numbers, because they cannot lie and they cannot be forgotten. Let us go deeper. Look at the very nature of the universe. It is patterned. The orbits of planets, the growth of plants, the neural networks of the brain, the lattice structure of crystals, all of it follows precise numerical laws. These laws are not imposed upon nature. They are nature. The golden ratio, pi, phi, these are not inventions. They are revelations. They are glimpses into the mind of God, translated through the language of mathematics. This language is the substratum of all things. Physicists who peer into the quantum realm describe a world not of matter, but of patterns, probabilities, frequencies, formulas. It is almost as though the universe is not made of things, but of relationships. And relationships are nothing if not numerical. The space between, the interval, the ratio, these are the wombs from which reality is born. And so, when you see numbers showing up in your life over and over again, the question is not, is this real? The real question is, am I ready? Because when numbers start speaking, It means your consciousness has reached a stage where it can begin to decode the message. You are no longer just living. You are observing. You are participating. You are decoding the matrix. One of the most haunting truths about this experience is that once you start paying attention, you realize the messages were always there. You weren't waiting for them. They were waiting for you. And when the lock clicks open, when you start recognizing that every number is a symbol and every repetition is a call, you begin to walk with intention. The world becomes less chaotic and more alive, less about randomness, more about revelation. There is one final theme here, perhaps the most crucial. Numbers are not merely external signs. They are reflections of your internal state. The more you evolve, the more they respond. Like sacred mirrors, they adjust their form to meet your frequency. They do not control you, they echo you. This is not a universe of domination. It is one of co-creation. And when you start listening, you begin to take part in the symphony. The universe is not shouting. It is not forcing. It is inviting. Through numbers, it offers a key. Through your awareness, you turn the lock, but only when you choose to see. Let us now descend into the realm of allegory, where truth is clothed in story, and symbols become the vessels through which deep cosmic truths are poured. For to truly understand how the universe speaks in numbers, one must do more than analyze patterns or recite sequences. One must feel them. One must journey inward into that ancient theater of the soul where myth and meaning converge, and where numbers are not only seen, but experienced. There is an old story whispered by mystics, not written in scripture but passed like fire from one silent seeker to another. It is the tale of the zero child. In the beginning, before the great unfolding, there was only zero, not emptiness, but fullness in rest, not nothing, but the womb of all things. Zero sat in stillness, unmanifest, limitless, timeless. Then, without warning, the desire to know itself arose within the stillness, and so one was born. One stretched across the void like a divine exhale, a spark igniting the canvas of nothing. One was not lonely, for it contained the echo of zero. Yet in its very being, it created two, the reflection. Now there was relationship, polarity, awareness of self and other. This became the sacred dance. One loved its mirror, and from their union came three, the first child of creation. Three danced, and time began. Geometry unfolded, energy moved. The universe, born of sacred numbers, began to pulse. In this myth lies a profound code. Zero is the source. One is will. Two is duality. Three is creation. Every number that follows is an echo of that primal dance, an extension of a pattern that is not bound by space, but echoed through it. This is not fiction. It is revelation, for these numbers are not just symbols. They are functions of spiritual reality. Consider the mystic's triangle. 3 points, 3 lines. It is the first complete form. The triangle is the body of God in motion, Father, Mother, and Child, Spirit, Matter, and Consciousness, past, present, and future. The moment you understand that these numbers are not just quantities, but archetypes, living truths, you begin to recognize the language that weaves itself into your life. Take the legend of the shepherd of 144. In this fable, a man awakens in a world where all people walk in circles, repeating their days, enslaved to patterns they cannot see. But the man begins to see a number, 144, everywhere, in dreams, on clocks, whispered in winds. He becomes obsessed. Eventually, he climbs to the highest mountain and meets a being of light who tells him 144 is the number of completion, 12 times 12, a sacred square of cosmic order. You have completed your first cycle of forgetfulness. Now begins the cycle of remembrance. This, too, is symbolic. The number 144 is referenced in many traditions, from the 144,000 sealed in the Book of Revelation to the geometric structures of light grids described in metaphysical texts. It represents a threshold, a moment when the individual leaves behind the dream of chaos and steps into the discipline of higher order. The number isn't magic, it's memory. It's the soul's encoded recognition of divine pattern reactivating. Stories like these are not meant to be literal. They are not to be dissected like maps. They are to be absorbed like poetry. They speak to the archetypal soul within you, the part that understands things not by proof, but by resonance. That deep hum in your chest when something just feels true. That is your inner compass aligning with the numerical soul of the universe. Numbers appear in your life when you're ready to hear them, and they often emerge at points of transition, moments when one chapter closes and another silently opens. They are the universe's breadcrumb trail, and each sequence is a mythic chapter. Take, for instance, the story of the dreaming architect, a soul who, before incarnation, sits with the great geometer to design a life path. The architect draws with light, using only numbers: 7 for completion, 9 for endings, 1 for new beginnings. The geometer blesses the plan, saying, "These numbers will wake you when you forget. They will call to you through clocks, receipts, and dreams. They will whisper the shape of your own becoming." And so the architect descends and forgets. But the numbers remain. Like seeds in soil, they wait until the appointed moment, when the soul, broken by time or wonder-struck by beauty, begins to notice, and remembering begins. You are that architect. This is your remembering. Even the most mundane encounters with numbers carry echoes of myth. You wake up at 4:44. You drive behind a license plate with 777. You glance at a billboard and see 222. Each of these is a glyph from the narrative of your soul, intersecting with the architecture of the cosmos. Numbers are the carriers of these myths. They are the gods in disguise, calling you home. When you embrace this symbolic lens, life becomes layered. Every number is a story, every story a thread, every thread a map, and you are not lost. Once the veil lifts and numbers begin to speak, there comes an inevitable question: what now? What does it mean to live in a world where the universe speaks through digits, ratios, and synchronicities? How do you carry the sacredness of numerical language into the rituals of daily life, into work, relationships, quiet mornings, and restless nights? The answer is neither abstract nor elusive. In truth, it is closer than breath. The awareness that numbers are messages is not meant to remain a mystical insight. It is an invitation to live in resonance with a deeper order. When you see 111 on the clock, it's not just a cosmic wink. It's a subtle call to realign your thoughts with clarity. If 555 arrives during a moment of hesitation, it's a nudge toward necessary change. The symbols are not ends in themselves. They are signposts toward integration. To walk this path is to learn the art of listening with presence. And this begins not in temples or texts, but in the simple rhythm of your life. When you start recognizing patterns, you are training your awareness to see the sacred within the ordinary. The numerical messages are like whispers carried on the wind. Only a still mind can hear them. Begin to observe without obsessing. Let the numbers come and go like waves, each one carrying meaning, yet asking nothing of you but attention. When a number repeats, pause, not to decode it like a puzzle, but to receive it like a friend. Ask, what was I thinking in that moment? What emotion was alive in me? What decision lies before me? The numbers do not instruct, they reflect. They show you where your energy is in harmony or dissonance with your greater path. You are in dialogue with the infinite. In this way, the digits become feedback loops, a kind of spiritual sonar, echoing back to you the quality of your own frequency. You begin to notice that when you're aligned, honest with yourself, courageous in action, rooted in presence, the numbers become clearer, more frequent, even playful. It's as if reality enjoys your awareness, as if the matrix itself responds with delight when you remember you're part of its design. This is not a game of superstition. It's a lifestyle of alignment. And over time, This alignment becomes practical in ways that are deeply transformative. You start making decisions differently, no longer driven solely by logic or fear, but guided by inner resonance and outer signs. The repeated appearance of a number might give you the courage to end something that has long expired, or the gentle confirmation that your instincts were correct all along. The guidance is subtle but powerful because it is not external, it is interactive. You are not being told what to do, you are being reminded of what you already know. In relationships, this awareness births a deeper sensitivity. You may notice shared numbers between you and someone else, birth dates, address numbers, times of key moments. These synchronicities are not trivial. They're invitations to explore soul connections beneath the surface. Perhaps this person came into your life to help you complete a certain numerical cycle. Perhaps their energy activates a forgotten part of your own. Even in the workplace or mundane tasks, this language whispers the amount on an invoice, the digits on an appointment, the time you feel compelled to take action. What once felt random begins to shimmer with subtle purpose. You are no longer sleepwalking, you are co-creating. And yes, there will be skeptics. The rational world may scoff, but it has always scoffed at what it cannot yet measure. Let them scoff. You are not here to prove, you are here to perceive. The proof lies not in theory, but in transformation. The deeper you listen, the more graceful your life becomes. Not perfect, not easy, but rich with meaning. You begin to move with the pulse of something ancient, something intelligent, something alive. And perhaps most importantly, this journey through numbers teaches humility. It teaches that you are not the center of the universe, but you are part of its design, a fractal expression of a pattern so beautiful, so vast, that it chose to know itself through you. Your life is not random. Your days are not disconnected. Each number is a thread, and every thread is a part of the tapestry of your soul's unfolding. When you integrate this awareness, something miraculous happens. You stop waiting for signs because you become the sign. You begin to act in ways that others feel but cannot name. You hold a presence that radiates order in the midst of chaos. You become a walking pattern of remembrance, triggering something dormant in others. Without needing to explain, you begin to awaken the dormant symphony of numbers within those around you. So yes, the universe is speaking in numbers. And when you begin to truly listen, you become fluent in a language that does not speak to you, but through you. And your life, once linear and forgetful, becomes rhythmic and sacred. Now, we arrive at the threshold, not an ending, but a return, a spiral back to the center, like the golden ratio unfurling through the shell of a nautilus. This journey has not been linear. It has looped and echoed and whispered truths beneath every turn. And at the heart of it all, a question resounds, not as accusation, but invitation. Are you listening? The universe, in all its vast and unspeakable intelligence, does not demand. It reveals. It lays down paths in light and shadow, in symbol and silence, waiting patiently for the soul who remembers how to feel beyond the surface. When numbers begin to speak, they are not pointing to themselves. They are pointing through themselves, to the architecture of consciousness, to the silent harmony behind the noise of the world. And perhaps now you realize this was never just about numbers. It never was. The repeating digits, the uncanny patterns, the coincidences that feel too intimate to dismiss, they were always gateways, clues, a kind of cosmic breadcrumb trail left by your higher self, guiding you out of the forest of forgetting and into the open field of awareness. You were never alone in this. Even when you felt blind, drifting in the current of days, something within you was scanning the symbols, something ancient, something luminous. Your soul was listening before your mind knew how. And now, as you become aware of that listening, as you stand more and more in tune with the invisible language, you begin to feel the truth of it in your bones. The language of the universe is not spoken, it is shown. It is shown in the patterns of your life, the rhythms of your heart, the numbers that rise like ripples across the surface of reality. It is shown in the dream that repeats itself, in the page that falls open to a phrase you needed to read, in the time on the clock that calls you to look. It is shown in the perfect imperfection of it all, how everything you dismissed now returns, glimmering with encoded purpose. The transformative call now is not to memorize sequences or become a mathematician of the mystical. The real call is this: to live as though everything is speaking to you, because it is, because it always was. And as you deepen into that awareness, your reality begins to transform, not in theory, but in experience. You start to trust the unseen. You act with alignment. You pause before rushing. You follow the tug, the pattern, the frequency. And what happens then? The code responds. Life becomes luminous. You start seeing not just repeating numbers, but repeating truths. That love is a frequency. That choice is a portal. That you are not a product of randomness, but a participant in a grand and elegant unfolding. You begin to hear the silent music beneath events. You sense when to move and when to be still. You see that everything has a signature, and that your signature has a place in the song. This transformation doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. It doesn't demand that you ascend some imaginary ladder. It asks only that you remember who's been guiding you all along. And when you forget, the numbers will remind you. They'll appear when needed, just as they have before, not to command you, but to awaken you. There will be moments, quiet, miraculous moments, when you look at a set of digits and feel an overwhelming stillness within, as if reality just nodded at you, as if God just blinked. In those moments, do not rush to explain. Do not ask why. Just receive. You have entered the sacred rhythm. You have become one who listens. In the end, this path is not about numerology or mysticism or even spirituality in its conventional sense. It is about awareness. It is about choosing to live in communion with the intelligence behind reality, to respond to its whispers, to recognize that there are no accidents, only signals, some loud, some soft, some immediate, others years in the making. You are being guided, even now. And the numbers are not just speaking, they are singing, not in a language of words, but of frequency, vibration, symbol, and timing. Each one is a light, each one is a mirror, and together they form a constellation, drawing you back to yourself. So here we are, full circle, back at the gateway. The code is alive, the universe is speaking, the patterns are unfolding beneath your very feet. The question is not whether the signs will continue. The question is, will you listen?